There's a voice inside you that whispers when your alarm goes off, just 5 more minutes. It pleads with you when you're tired, you've done enough today. And it screams at you when things get hard, give up, it's not worth it. But then there's another voice. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it doesn't beg for attention. It simply says, get up and grind. That's the voice that changes lives. That's the voice that turns dreams into achievements. That's the voice of every champion, every success story, every person who's ever dared to push beyond comfort and excuses. Getting up and grinding doesn't mean you never feel tired. It doesn't mean you never want to quit. It means you show up anyway, you push anyway, you chase your goals anyway, because the grind is not about talent, it's about effort. It's not about luck, it's about discipline. And it's not about how you feel, it's about what you do. So to anyone out there who's waiting for the perfect time or for motivation to strike, let me tell you, it's not coming, but your next move is, your next step, your next rep, your next sacrifice. You don't need permission to succeed. You need a decision to rise up even when you'd rather stay down, a decision to give your best even when you feel like you've got nothing left. That's the grind. So every day, wake up with a reason. Show up with a plan, move forward with purpose, because success isn't promised to those who wait, it's earned by those who get up and grind. Thank you. Discipline over motivation. We all love the feeling of motivation. It's exciting, it's energizing. It gives us that initial push to get started on something new. Whether it's a fitness goal, a business dream, or a creative project, motivation feels like rocket fuel until it doesn't. The truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, rises and falls, and often disappears at the exact moment you need it most. That's where discipline steps in, the quiet, consistent force that doesn't rely on feelings but on commitment. Think about it. How often have you set a goal when you felt fired up, only to abandon it a few days later when the excitement wore off? That's because you relied on emotion instead of structure. Motivation may open the door, but discipline walks you through it every single day. Discipline is waking up early when your body screams for more sleep. It's going to the gym when your muscles ache. It's working on your craft when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, and when no one's giving you credit. It's doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. This is the core of grinding, showing up without applause, showing up when it's cold, when it's boring, when it's painful. That's where growth happens. Not when you're motivated, but when you're committed despite your mood. Let's take a look at high achievers across any field: athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, scholars. What do they have in common? They aren't just passionate, they're disciplined. Kobe Bryant practiced hours before team practice began. Elon Musk worked 80-plus-hour weeks. These people didn't wait for motivation to strike, they created routines that didn't allow for excuses. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes, and like building any muscle, it's going to hurt in the beginning. You'll resist it. You'll fall off track. But every time you show up, you're rewiring your identity. You're saying to yourself, I'm the kind of person who follows through. And when you become that person, the game changes. You no longer need someone to push you. You push yourself. You become your own motivation. That's the power of discipline. It makes you unstoppable, not because you never fail, but because you always return to the grind. Here's the magic. Discipline eventually breeds motivation. When you start seeing progress, whether it's physical, financial, or personal, you become more motivated. You begin to crave that sense of growth and momentum, but it all starts with that first act of showing up when it's hard. So if you want to build a business, write a book, transform your health, or master a skill, don't wait until you feel like it. Don't count on mornings that feel perfect. Count on discipline, create routines, set boundaries, remove distractions, make it non-negotiable, show up whether it's raining, whether you're tired, whether people believe in you or not. Because in a world full of talkers, the grinders win not because they're the loudest, but because they're the most consistent. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your greatness. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. And when you choose discipline over motivation day after day, choice after choice, you stop chasing the grind and you become it. Consistency builds legacy. If there's one secret weapon in the journey to greatness, it's this: consistency. Not talent, not luck, not even timing, just showing up again and again and again, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when nobody notices. That's how legacy is built. Too many people underestimate the power of small efforts repeated daily. We're conditioned to believe in big breakthroughs, overnight success, and viral moments. But that's a lie. Real results, real transformation, real respect, those are the rewards of quiet, steady work over time. Let's break this down. Imagine a person who works out once a week with maximum intensity versus someone who trains lightly every single day. Over 6 months, who do you think transforms more? Not the one who gave their all occasionally, but the one who showed up consistently. Because consistency beats intensity every time. When you grind daily, even in the smallest way, you begin to form habits. Those habits become part of your identity. Your identity becomes your standard, and your standard determines your results. That's how you build something that lasts. Consider some of the greatest legacies in human history: writers, leaders, inventors, creators. What do they all share? An unshakable commitment to the process. They didn't produce one masterpiece and call it quits. They kept going, even when their work wasn't recognized, even when their efforts were ignored. They understood that showing up daily was the price of admission to greatness. Consistency is what turns amateurs into professionals. Anyone can be inspired once in a while. Anyone can sprint for a short time. But can you keep walking when the motivation is gone? Can you keep grinding when nobody claps? That's the test. That's where legacy is formed: in the dark, in the quiet, in the repetition. The problem is, most people quit too soon. They expect immediate results. They give up when they don't see instant success. But let me tell you, your breakthrough is not at the start. It's buried in the middle of your grind. It's hidden behind 100 ordinary days that nobody sees. If you want to reach it, you have to keep moving one step at a time. Consistency is also the greatest trust builder with others and with yourself. When people see you show up every day, they trust your word, but more importantly, you begin to trust yourself. You stop doubting. You stop negotiating. You become a person who follows through. That kind of belief, that's power. Don't be fooled by how slow it feels. Progress doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it shows up weeks later. But if you keep grinding, the compound effect kicks in, and that's when the results explode. Not because of one big day, but because of 100 silent ones. So, whatever your goal is: getting in shape, building a business, improving your mindset, commit to the long game. Focus on being consistent, not perfect. You will stumble, you will miss a day, that's okay. Just don't quit. One bad day doesn't cancel 99 good ones. The grind is a marathon, not a sprint. And those who endure, who grind through boredom, fatigue, and doubt, they don't just reach the goal. They become the kind of person who sets new ones. That's legacy. So start small if you have to, but start now. Stay consistent, stay relentless, because every day you grind, you're writing your story. And one day the world will read it and call it legendary. Your why powers your grind. Behind every relentless grind, there's a reason, a why, a purpose that fuels the fire, even when everything else says quit. If the grind is the engine, your why is the fuel, the deep, personal reason you keep going long after others give up. Here's the truth: discipline gets you up, consistency keeps you going, but your why is what makes the struggle meaningful. When things get hard, and they will, motivation alone won't be enough. Comfort will tempt you, doubt will visit you, life will test you, and if you don't have a powerful why, you'll fold under the pressure. But when your why is clear, quitting no longer becomes an option. The pain becomes a price you're willing to pay. The grind becomes a choice, not a chore. So ask yourself, why did I start? Why does this goal matter to me? Who am I doing this for? Maybe it's for your family to break a generational cycle. Maybe it's for your younger self to become the person you once dreamed of. Maybe it's for your future to build a life of freedom, impact, or purpose. Or maybe it's for the people who said you'd never make it, and proving them wrong fuels your fire. Whatever your reason is, make it personal, make it emotional, make it real, because when your why touches your heart, it strengthens your mind. It gives you something to hold on to when everything else feels like it's slipping away. Greatness doesn't happen by accident. It happens when someone makes a decision not just to grind, but to grind for something. People who know their why don't just work hard, they work different. Their focus is sharper. Their patience is longer. Their hustle is louder, because their purpose isn't surface level. It's rooted in something deeper. Let's take an example. Imagine two people training for a marathon. One wants to do it for fun. The other is doing it to honor a loved one they lost. Who do you think trains harder? Who pushes further when it gets tough? The one whose why carries emotion, because emotion drives endurance. Emotion creates obsession. Emotion makes the grind personal. Your grind becomes your mission when it aligns with your values. It becomes non-negotiable. It becomes sacred. And when that happens, your energy shifts. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop asking, how long will this take? And start saying, as long as it takes. But here's the challenge: your why can fade if you don't remind yourself. So, keep it in front of you, write it on your wall, speak it into your phone, journal about it, meditate on it, tattoo it on your mindset, because the world will try to distract you, discourage you, and derail you, and the only way to stay locked in is to stay rooted in your why. And when the alarm clock rings, when your legs are tired, when progress feels invisible, your why will remind you. This is bigger than comfort. This is bigger than tired. This is about who I'm becoming. The grind is not easy, it's not glamorous, but when your purpose is clear, it becomes worth it. So dig deep, find your reason, and let it light the fire inside you, because when your why is strong, the grind becomes unstoppable. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. We live in a world obsessed with comfort. Comfortable routines, comfortable conversations, comfortable decisions. But here's the raw truth. Comfort never created champions. Comfort never birthed innovation. Comfort never built empires. If you want to become something greater than average, you must be willing to feel uncomfortable regularly. Greatness lives outside the comfort zone. The grind demands sacrifice. It demands effort when the couch is calling, focus when distractions are screaming, and action when fear tries to paralyze you. Most people avoid the discomfort because it feels hard. But what they don't realize is that comfort has a hidden cost: the death of potential. Let me break it down for you. Comfort is a liar. It tells you, rest a little longer, when what you need is discipline. It whispers, you're fine where you are, when deep down you know you're meant for more. It convinces you that risk is dangerous, when in reality, staying stagnant is the biggest risk of all. Every breakthrough, physical, mental, spiritual, begins at the edge of comfort. Want to build muscle? You have to tear it first. Want to grow mentally? Challenge your thinking. Want to build a business? You'll face rejection, fear, and doubt. There is no version of greatness that exists without pressure. Comfort zone thinking keeps people playing small. It's the silent killer of dreams. Why? Because it gives you just enough pleasure to keep you stuck. Just enough routine to keep you from exploring. Just enough stability to keep you from leaping. But here's what most never understand. Comfort may feel good in the moment, but it robs you of the fire that drives change. The grind requires you to do things that are hard, awkward, uncertain, and often scary. That's where the growth is. That's where confidence is born, not from avoiding challenge, but from surviving it. When you step into discomfort, when you willingly choose the hard path, you begin to transform. Your tolerance increases, your confidence builds, your mindset evolves. What once scared you becomes normal. What once broke you becomes your warm-up. The people we admire, the ones who lead, create, innovate, dominate, they all made a decision to chase challenge instead of comfort. They embraced the awkward phase. They welcomed failure. They understood that discomfort is the soil where greatness grows. But the grind doesn't ask for a dramatic change all at once. It asks for one thing: to do the hard thing today. Wake up earlier, speak the truth, make the call, hit the gym, write the page, push through the moment of resistance. And here's the thing: discomfort doesn't last. What feels unbearable today becomes manageable tomorrow. What stretches you today strengthens you tomorrow. That's the process: stretching, breaking, growing, repeating. So if you're grinding, if you're chasing something bigger than yourself, know this: you will be uncomfortable. You will want to quit. You will wonder if it's worth it. And in those moments, remind yourself, this pain is not punishment, it's preparation. You're being forged. You're becoming. You're transforming into someone who doesn't fold under pressure, but rises in it. Comfort will keep you safe, but it will never make you legendary. So step into the discomfort, embrace the resistance, chase the growth, because the price of greatness is not ease, it's effort, and the grind. The grind is where that transformation begins. Grind silently. Let success speak in a world obsessed with noise, where everyone is posting, bragging, documenting every small move. There's an underrated power in grinding silently. There's strength in staying focused, keeping your head down, and letting your work speak louder than your words ever could. You see, many people fall into the trap of talking more than they're doing. They announce every goal. They share every small win. They chase claps and validation before they've built real results. But the truth is, the loudest in the room are often the ones doing the least. Meanwhile, the most dangerous people, the ones who are coming for greatness, are usually the quiet ones. They're too busy putting in the reps to stop and explain themselves. When you grind silently, you remove the pressure of performing for others. You're not seeking applause. You're not feeding off likes. You're building for yourself. That creates purity in your process. It keeps your grind grounded. It's no longer about proving something to the world, it's about fulfilling something inside you. There's a special kind of magic in moving in silence. You get more done. You stay more focused. You protect your vision from distractions, jealousy, or doubt. You don't need people questioning your pace, your path, or your progress. Because your only audience is your future self, the one you're grinding for. And when you finally emerge, when your results begin to speak, they speak loudly. People can't ignore consistency. They can't ignore transformation. They can't ignore success that was built in the shadows through discipline, sacrifice, and self-belief. That kind of success doesn't need a microphone. It commands respect on its own. Look at every legend who built an empire. They didn't talk about their goals every day. They showed up, they worked late, they studied, created, trained, failed, improved, and repeated. By the time the world noticed, the foundation was already built. Grinding silently also teaches humility. It reminds you that you're not entitled to results just because you're trying. It makes you earn everything. It keeps you hungry and humble, the two traits most needed for longevity. And here's something important. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's self-mastery. It's refusing to leak energy into places that don't return value. Every time you announce your next move, you invite unnecessary noise, opinions, comparisons, distractions. But when you move quietly, the world has no choice but to witness the outcome instead of judging the process. This doesn't mean you hide your light or downplay your achievements. It means you shift your energy from talking to doing. It means letting the scoreboard speak for itself. It means allowing the quality of your work to be the message, not the volume of your voice. You'll find more peace in the silence, more focus, more power. When you're not worried about how you look, you can lock in on what you're building. You grind for growth, not attention, for mastery, not applause, for meaning, not vanity. And when that breakthrough comes, when the door opens, when the vision becomes reality, people will look at you and say, "Where did you come from?" And you'll smile, knowing you've been here all along. Grinding, evolving, preparing, because that's what the greats do. They grind silently, and then one day, success speaks on their behalf louder than any words ever could. So here we are at the end of this message, but at the beginning of your next level. We've talked about discipline over motivation. We've spoken about the power of consistency, the fire of your why, the growth that lives outside comfort, and the strength in silent grind. but all of it boils down to one truth. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who work, not once, not when it's easy, but every day, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when no one's watching, because that's what it takes. That's the grind. And here's the most important part: you are capable of this. You have what it takes, not someday, not after everything is perfect. Right now, with your flaws, your fears, your doubts, and your potential. So wake up tomorrow not for comfort, but for purpose. Not for validation, but for vision. Not to impress, but to progress. Get up and grind. Grind for your goals. Grind for your growth. Grind for the life that's waiting on the other side of your excuses. Let the world keep sleeping. You rise, you move, you build, because you're not here to coast. You're here to conquer. So wherever you are in your journey, just remember, it's not about who starts fast. It's about who keeps going. Get up and grind. Thank you.